Hello humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer, the video game show that is brought to you straight from Malaysia. And we're playing Dreamcast because we are celebrating the life of this great machine. So, we have another made-up condition here. Fortnite addiction is complete and utter bullcrap. Absolutely. There's no such thing. You know what there is? There's crappy ass parenting. Right? There's just horrible parenting. Just like you have below average gameplay, which you are about to see, by the way, courtesy of moi. There's also below average parenting, and in every single situation you hear the same thing. Well, all he wants to do is play. All he wants to do is yada yada. You know, you name it, these guys have an excuse for it, right? These people. And they're searching for a condition, and don't think I'm kidding. They're gonna find a drug for it, right? They're gonna find a medicine for it. These kids are gonna need medicine to be treated, right? You know, these kids are about addicted to Fortnite as most kids were addicted to Street Fighter and PlayStation 1 back in the day. It's the same old story. You know, if kids have no expectations at home of doing anything, and what expectation does a kid have of doing anything or contributing in his home that is playing the game for 12 hours? None whatsoever. You know, if you have to clean your room, if you're expected to do certain things around your house, you know, just because it's your responsibility, there is no flipping way that you're gonna have 12 hours to play Fortnite a day. You're just not. You know, and it's the same thing back in the day. We all knew kids that played way too many video games that, you know, would play way more than us, right? We all knew them. And it was the same factor, you know, their parents didn't expect anything from them, right? Not everybody got spanked, but, you know, there was a few of us that we got out of line if we didn't do what we were expected to do. You know, if we didn't get an ass whooping that day, it was coming. Now, I'm not saying beat your kids, even though I believe in spanking some kids because they need something, right? No, they need medicine, not a good spanking. But anyway, you know, and I'm not saying the kids don't have problems, guys, but in a lot of these cases, right? In a lot of these cases, we're looking at brats. We're looking at kids saying, no, I'm not gonna do that, I'm not gonna do this, all I wanna play is my game. You've seen the tantrums on the internet, right? But who's responsible? Who's paying the light bill? Who's buying the console? Who's paying for the phone? Parents are. And they set no expectations on these kids other than sitting their ass at home when they get home after school. You know, and I'm not saying they shouldn't be rewarded. You know what? If my kid is bringing home straight A's, they're doing everything that they're supposed to do, and all they want to do is play a video game, I'm all for it, man. You know what I'm saying? If I have a kid that's doing great everywhere else, I'd rather him be playing, you know, whatever many hours of video games than, you know, smoking weed or doing something stupid, right? But these are not the cases we're talking about. We're talking about kids that are like just complete little brats, little a-holes, and parents that have no discipline, right? And that really is the common factor. There's no expectations in the home. And there is no discipline. The parents aren't disciplined because they're not willing to do anything to curtail the usage. They act like they're helpless, right? Like there's nothing I can do because he's gonna get upset. You know, kids get upset all the time. Their brains aren't functioning properly. That's because their kids are learning, right? But the fact that we're even talking about this, right? I mean, can you imagine back in the day, you just hear people talking about, well, you know, kids are addicted to playing marbles too much. They're playing marbles 12 hours a day. And, you know, I come from the time where marbles were still being played, man. And I played a bunch of marbles, but I knew that when the sun went down, my ass had better be home, right? I knew that there's certain expectations in the house from me that I had to take care of regardless of what else I wanted to do. And as long as those expectations were met, I was okay to, you know, to have my own free time. And these kids don't. You know, America and the world has gotten soft, whether it's, you know, Korea or you name it, we've gotten soft, especially when it comes to our kids. You know, they're just living like kings most of the time, right? They don't have to pay bills, they don't have to do squat. Oh man, it's getting serious here. They don't have to do squat around the house, and they don't have to contribute to your home at all. What? They don't have to contribute. Yes, that was a B performance. I agree. Below expectations, below average gameplay. So that's a common factor, guys. I mean, there's no real video game addiction. There's a huge lack of discipline in our society. You know, and I'm speaking from what I see around my neighborhoods, right? And I can see complete opposite over here. I see a lot more discipline, and I'm speaking for Malaysia right now. I'm not speaking for any other place. I see there's a little bit more discipline here when it comes to those kind of things. You don't see, you know, a lot of internet cafes, or, you know, there's still kids playing outside, kids at the mall. And you can see the difference, right? You can see the difference in expectations. Oh man, I'm getting my butt kicked because I'm talking too much. When it comes to the parents and their kids over here, you know, and that's all there is. You know, I know when you interview, right? And let's profile here a little bit. When you interview these kids, what kids are showing up there, right? Who are the parents that are showing up there? Just look at it. There's certain people that are not going to show them. They're not going to be showing up there because there's certain cultures that have certain expectations of kids in their households, right? There's certain things that they have to do. And those are things that sometimes when we get here, or when we get to different parts of the world, we adopt the wrong things and we forget big parts of our culture. You can see that in the Hispanic community, for example. You know, in second, third generations, the expectations aren't the same, right, that they are in the first generation. That's just normal because people become more Americanized, more Westernized, right? And that's all that's going on here, man. And I'm not saying you should whip the kids. I'm saying you should whip the parents. That's right. Every parent deserves a good ass whipping for mediocre parenting, because that's all it is. Mediocre parenting. I don't care who it is, where they're from, whether it's in South Korea or, you know, Los Angeles or anywhere else in the world. If you have a kid that has 12 hours to spare in his daily life and has no responsibilities around the home, you are doing bad parenting. You are doing that kid a disservice. And you know, some kids are mature enough to handle gameplay on their own. You don't really have to supervise them. They keep on their own grades, right? And that's cool. And some kids need a little push, man. Some kids need a little push. Like I was one of those kids. Like I would do everything like way too much, right? I would play games too much. I would play soccer too much. I mean, whatever it was, I was doing it over and above what it really called for, right? If, you know, kids were playing, you know, soccer for 3 hours, I'm playing 5 hours, you know? And yeah, you know, but all it takes is a little parent supervision, man, and being aware of what your kids are doing, when they are doing it. And if they're playing 4 hours of video games a day and they have good grades, you don't have a problem. But if you have a brat, a kid that's overweight, that's not going out, that you have no expectation for, and all they do is sit on their ass and play video games, and you allow that as a parent, you need to get your ass whipped, because you are the problem, not the kid. It's your parenting, bro. Now parents, get it straight, and don't make up any bogus addictions anymore. This is pure crap. All right, guys, I'm sure people got pissed off. I'm sure people got offended, but that's the way I see it. And with that, I leave you, my friends. Don't be afraid to be happy. And watch this mediocre gameplay here.